The marks on her body and pain in her silence and the fading light in her eyes told the story of a young woman slowly broken by cruelty. When Manisha died, it wasn't just the end of her life. It was the collapse of every hope she once carried into her marriage. Manisha was married to Kundan in 2023. Like many Indian families still under the burden of dowry customs, her parents went beyond their means to fulfill the demands made by the groom's side. They gave their daughter everything they could, including a bullet motorcycle as dowry. At first, things seemed fine. For about 5 months, there were no complaints. The marriage appeared stable, but gradually, things began to change. Kundan and his family were not satisfied with the bullet. Their expectation had begun to SUV Thar. They considered the bullet a slight, an insult to their so-called status, and their disappointment into abuse. The emotional pressure quickly escalated into physical violence. Manisha was routinely beaten, not in anger, but with the cold entitlement of people who believed they deserved more. Kundan would lock her in a room for days without food. He would come home drunk and thrash her like she was nothing. Her screams were heard but never acknowledged. And what's worse, her in-laws, instead of stopping him, stood with their son. They encouraged it, justifying cruelty in the name of dowry. As if there wasn't enough, when Manisha became pregnant, she wasn't allowed to make her own choice. She was forced to consume abortion pills. Her body was no longer her own. It was controlled, silenced, and violated. Eventually, her family stepped in. Horrified by her condition, they brought her back to her maternal home. For a year, she lived there. A year of quietness, recovery, perhaps hope that things would improve or at least settle. But one day, out of nowhere, Kundan reappeared. Not to apologize, not to ask for forgiveness. He came with divorce papers. He asked her to sign as if it was that simple. As if her pain, her suffering, the life she tried to build with him meant nothing. The demand shattered her already fragile spirit. She refused to sign, but inside something broke again, perhaps for the final time. A few days later, Manisha consumed pesticide. Her family rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. She died. Only after her death did the system react. The police, the courts, the media all suddenly became alert. A case was registered, investigations began, but Manisha was gone. Another daughter destroyed, not just by a man, but by a mindset. Her story is not just about dowry. It's about entitlement, about a culture that allows women to suffer in silence, about a system that waits for them to die before it acts. Manisha didn't need any justice after her death. She needed it while she was still alive. And the proof is on her body, because she did not write any suicide note. Her body was herself a suicide note. That's all for now on this story. Stay tuned to the Savera, download the app and follow us on various social media platforms.